A very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television, your one-stop morning show for top stories from India and across the globe. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and these are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to interact today with the 2,000 students appearing for board examinations. Schools to broadcast live the second edition of Pariksha Par Charcha. Step up lending to MSMEs, agriculture and housing sectors. Finance Minister Piyush Goyal tells public sector banks, promises them support, asserts many will be profitable by the year end. Big bonanza for government staff as 7th Pay Commission recommendations take effect. Allowances are revised for 30,000 employees in central universities, 5,500 in deemed universities. Top leaders to address public rallies today. Amit Shah to address over 50,000 party activists in Odisha. Rahul Gandhi to meet booth workers in Kerala's Kochi district. And 4-day-long Republic Day celebrations to conclude today evening with Beating the Retreat. 27 performances by 15 military bands to enthrall the entire nation at Vijay Chowk. The top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the students, teachers and parents about examinations and related stress today. A total of 2,000 students, parents and teachers will be participating in the second edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha event. The event, being organized by the HRD Ministry, will be held at Delhi's Tal Katoora Stadium. For the first time, students from all over India and also Indian students residing abroad are participating. The students will also share their experiences, anecdotes and methods for studying for board examinations. The government has also invited students to register on mygov.in and participate in the Pariksha Pe Charcha contest and get an opportunity to interact with the Prime Minister. The competition is only for students studying from class 9 to 12th, graduate and undergraduate college students, their parents and teachers. Participants will also be able to join the interactive session from across the country and even abroad through video conference. The schools will also broadcast the interaction live.
ये ग्लोबल इवेंट है क्योंकि ये ओमान, दोहा, नाइजीरिया, रशिया, सम साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज एंड मोर मिडिल ईस्ट कंट्रीज, इसमें भी ये वहाँ से भी स्टूडेंट्स पार्टिसिपेट होने वाले हैं और वहाँ भी ये दिखाई देगा. तो ये इसमें शायद दुनिया के पहले प्रधानमंत्री है कि जो स्टूडेंट्स के इम्तिहान के विषय को लेकर, जो बिल्कुल राजनीतिक विषय नहीं है, हर घर का विषय है और हर एक को जिंदगी में अनेक परीक्षाओं में उनको जाना पड़ता है, उस परीक्षाओं के जाते समय कैसे विश्वास से और तनाव मुक्त तरीके से जाओ, इसके गुर उन्होंने सिखाए.
And earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the National Cadet Corps in Delhi on Monday. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that India is a strong proponent of peace, but will not hesitate to take steps to ensure its national security. He said in the last 4 years, the government has taken several decisions, keeping the security of the nation a priority. Referring to the completion of the nuclear triad, he said that India was one of the few nations that could launch nuclear weapons from land, sea and water. The Prime Minister also asserted that corruption cannot be part of New India and those indulging in graft will not be spared.
हमारी सेना ने ये स्पष्ट संदेश दिया है कि हम छेड़ते नहीं हैं, लेकिन किसी ने अगर छेड़ा तो हम उसे छोड़ते भी नहीं. हम शांति के प्रबल समर्थक हैं, लेकिन राष्ट्र रक्षा के लिए कोई भी कदम उठाने में हम चूकेंगे नहीं. देश आप युवा साथियों को आश्वस्त करता हूं कि आने वाले समय में हर वो बड़ा और कड़ा फैसला लिया जाएगा जो राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा के लिए जरूरी है। अगर राष्ट्र सुरक्षित रहेगा, सक्षम रहेगा, तभी युवा अपने सपने साकार कर पाएगा।
And on to the other top story in a decision that will benefit 30,000 teaching and equivalent staff in central universities. The centre on Monday issued orders for the revision of allowances of teachers, equivalent academic cadre, registrars, finance officers and controller of examinations in the universities and colleges as per the recommendations of the 7th Central Pay Commission. The move will benefit 5,500 teaching and equivalent staff in the centrally funded deemed to be universities. The revised special allowances per month for Vice Chancellor is 11,250 rupees, Pro Vice Chancellor 9,000 rupees, Principal in PG colleges 6,750 rupees and Principal in UG colleges 4,500 rupees. The orders come into force with immediate effect. The development comes days after the centre approved a proposal to extend the 7th Pay Commission recommendations to academic staff of government and aided technical institutions. The centre will release 1,241 crore rupees for the purpose. Finance Minister Piyush Goyal on Monday exhorted the state-run banks to step up lending to micro, small and medium enterprises, that is MSMEs, agriculture and housing sectors. In a discussion with the heads of state-owned banks, Piyush Goyal also promised all kinds of support to these banks. And observing that the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code has helped the public sector banks recover over 1 lakh crore rupees in the 3 quarters of the current financial year, Goyal exuded confidence that it would make them more profitable in days to come. The minister on Monday also reviewed the performances of the public sector banks. Remember, the review came after visible signs of strengthening of PSBs as a result of government's comprehensive 4 Rs approach, that is recognition, resolution, recapitalization and reforms. In the meeting, the banks also committed to step up their efforts for financing under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is aimed at securing housing for all by 2022.
Discuss and deliberate on various measures to support the MSME sector. They have discussed various measures to promote finance for housing and give a thrust to homeowners to get adequate financing. They have also discussed various ways in which the operations of the banks can become more efficient, customer friendly, profitable, as well as ensure the stated goals of this government to reach financial inclusion of every Indian anywhere in the country.
BJP President Amit Shah will be in Odisha today, where he will attend a rally in Cuttack district. Amit Shah will also address more than 50,000 party activists from several areas of the state. Amit Shah will also address a public gathering in West Bengal's Medinapur district. And earlier on Monday, Amit Shah targeted the Congress and said that OROP means only Rahul, only Priyanka, using it as an acronym for One Rank, One Pension scheme for military personnel. The BJP president was addressing a rally in Hamirpur in Himachal Pradesh and said that no one cared for the soldiers for over 70 years. But when the Modi government came to power in 2014, it implemented OROP for ex-servicemen. He added that the BJP government has taken innumerable steps to eradicate poverty and empower the poor in the country.
आज तक 70 साल तक गरीबी हटाने के नारे लेकर चली। आज भी कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष का भाषण सुनिए, गरीबी का जिक्र वो जरूर करेंगे। मैं उनको पूछना चाहता हूं, राहुल बाबा, आप हमें जवाब दीजिए, इस मंच से मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, 4 पीढ़ी तक शासन किया, 55 साल तक शासन किया, आज भी गरीबी हमें दूर करनी पड़ती है, तो आपकी 4 पीढ़ियों ने क्या किया, इसका हिसाब जरा देश की जनता को।
Meanwhile, Congress President Rahul Gandhi announced on Monday that his party would ensure a minimum income guarantee for every poor person in the country if it is voted to power in the upcoming Lok Sabha polls. The Congress president made the announcement while addressing Kisan Abhar Sammelan in Raipur to express gratitude to the people of Chhattisgarh, particularly farmers, for voting the Congress to power in the state after 15 years. He asserted that he gets done what he says, adding that a minimum income guarantee would be implemented across the country if his party is voted to power at the centre. And regional parties across the northeast, which are in alliance with the BJP, will meet in Guwahati today to put forth their objections to the Citizenship Amendment Bill. Now, they will be joined in by the JDU, NDA's major ally in Bihar, and the Assam Gun Parishad, which recently snapped ties with the BJP in Assam over the proposed legislation that seeks to provide Indian citizenship to non-Muslim nationals from Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan after 6 years of residence in India. The regional parties across Northeast, which are meeting on the citizenship bill, are the members of the BJP-led Northeast Democratic Alliance. On to some other news, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, along with his wife, witnessed folk and classical dances presented by tableau artists who participated in the Republic Day parade from 10 states at his residence on Monday. And the Vice President appreciated the artists for preserving India's folk art forms and traditions, calling India a fragrant bouquet of diverse cultures. Venkaiah Naidu said that the performances by the artists had further enriched the country's diversity.
साहित्य, संगीत, काव्य, मूर्ति कलाएं हमारा लोक और जनजाति संस्कृति में निहित जीवन दर्शन हमारे पूर्वजों की रचनात्मकता और उद्यमशीलता की जीती जागती गाथा है। आप इस कला परंपरा को संरक्षित कर रहे हैं। देश आपके प्रति कृतज्ञता है।
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also interacted with the volunteers of National Service Scheme, or the NSS, who participated in the Republic Day parade at his official residence in the national capital on Monday. And he said that a stint at voluntary services like the NSS, NCC should be made mandatory for children from school days. He added that such training would help students to develop a feeling of oneness, develop empathy and compassion, and become sensitive to the needs of the less fortunate. The Vice President also appreciated the NSS volunteers for actively participating in programs like Swachh Bharat and for serving people in times of natural calamities like floods by collecting relief materials. He said that such activities reinforce India's core philosophy of share and care.
I strongly feel that youth of India, who will shape the country's destiny in future, must take up social service activities in greater numbers. In fact, I am of the opinion NSS, NCC should be made mandatory for every student. I am very clear about it. I have been advocating the same. I hope the government at the center and the states, they will all understand this importance.
And with the Beating the Retreat ceremony, Republic Day festivities will formally end in the evening today. As many as 27 performances by all the wings of the military, the Indian Army, Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force will participate in the ceremony, which marks the return of defence forces who had arrived at the national capital as part of the Republic Day celebrations to their barracks. In fact, 15 military bands, 15 pipers and drum bands from regimental centres and battalions are participating in the event, along with one band each of the Indian Navy and Air Force. Bands from the State Police as well as the CAPF, comprising Central Industrial Security Force, Central Reserve Police Force and the Delhi Police, will also take part. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news. Don't go anywhere.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. The Supreme Court will hear Vedanta Company's plea to reopen Sterlite plant at Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu today. The case relates to Vedanta's plea alleging that the Tamil Nadu government has not allowed it to enter its premise despite a Green Tribunal's December order that allowed the reopening of the plant. The state government is opposing Vedanta's request, saying that it cannot be done unless pollution norms are complied with. Earlier this month, a bench hearing the company's plea had observed that it was inclined to order desealing of its plant and also asked the state government to restore electricity supply to the plant at Tuticorin. Remember, at least 13 people were killed and several others were injured on 22nd of May last year when the police opened fire on the people protesting against the environment pollution being caused by the unit. News from the south of the country, the third and final phase of the Panchayat elections in Telangana is being held today amid tight security. The polling, which began at 7 in the morning, will end at 1 p.m. The counting will be taken up from 2 p.m. on the same day. The first ever polls for Panchayats after the formation of the state in 2014 are being held in 3 phases. The first and second phases were held on 21st and 25th of January, respectively. Though 4,116 panchayats were scheduled to go to polls in the third phase, 577 panchayats were declared unanimously and the election to another 10 were cancelled due to other reasons. And more election-related news, a high voter turnout was recorded in the by-polls to the Jind Assembly seat in Haryana and Ramgarh Assembly seat in Rajasthan. 75.77 voter turnout was recorded in Jind Assembly by-election, which was necessitated following the death of Indian National Lok Dal legislator Hari Chand Midha. Now, fates of leaders of the ruling BJP, the opposition INLD, Congress and the JJP, which is formed by Lok Sabha MP Dushyant Chautala after a split in INLD, were sealed in the multi-cornered contest. The Congress has fielded its chief national spokesperson and sitting MLA from Kaithal constituency, Randeep Singh Surjewala, from this seat. Meanwhile, 78.9% voter turnout was recorded in Rajasthan's Ramgarh seat. The election to this constituency was necessitated following the demise of the BSP candidate Lakshman Singh here. Former Union Minister Natwar Singh's son, Jagat Singh, is the BSP's candidate from this seat, while the ruling Congress had fielded Shafia Zubair as its candidate. The counting of the votes and the result for both the seats will be announced on Thursday. The Election Commission has ordered the transfer of officials posted in home districts ahead of Lok Sabha polls. On Monday, the election body directed all the state governments to transfer the officials posted in their home districts and those who have spent 3 years in a district in the last 4 years. Now, it is usual for the poll panel to issue such directions ahead of the Lok Sabha or Assembly elections to ensure that officials do not interfere in the election process in any way and exercise remains free and fair. On to some other news. Kyrgyzstan Foreign Minister Eder Bilov Chirgiv on Monday called on Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and talked about boosting bilateral trade and investment between the two countries. Earlier addressing India-Kyrgyzstan Business Forum in Delhi, he said that talks are going on with India over the possibility of creating a joint financial mechanism that will open up new prospects of business between the two countries. He will also hold a delegation-level talks with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj in Hyderabad House today. The Foreign Minister is on official 5-day visit to India from 27th of January. The 9th edition of the National Science Film Festival, organized by Vigyan Prasar, is being held at the campus of Chandigarh University. On the second day, a session was organized on the topic of media and science. Participating in the discussion, actor Vikram Gokhale asked the students to make science-based films in the country. Former scientist Gohar Raza also emphasized the need for a channel dedicated to science. On the first day of the session, more than 12 films based on science and technology were showcased to the jury members and the audience.
Sitting with me in front of you, and they are very much eager to have interaction with the young generation of filmmakers of this university. तो मेरा ये कहना है कि अंग्रेजी में बनाने के बजाय आप अंग्रेजी सबटाइटल्स देते रहिए, लेकिन हमारे मुल्क के लोग जो है उनके लिए हमें काम करना है. आप अपना जो वक्त ये सीखने के लिए दे रहे हैं यूनिवर्सिटी को, खुद का जो वक्त, पैसा और कोशिश है, ये आप जो कुछ कर रहे हैं वो हमारे मुल्क के लिए काम करना है. हमारे मुल्क के लिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं, यहाँ की यंग जनरेशन ये दुनिया देखेगी, तब देखेगी और तालियां बजाएगी उधर फॉरेन में. हमें अपने लोगों के लिए काम करना है.
On the international news now, the British Parliament is due to vote on the alternative plan for a Brexit deal today. The country's Prime Minister Theresa May submitted the plan to the House of Commons on 21st of January after her initial deal was overwhelmingly rejected in Parliament. Now, MPs from all the parties will spend several hours debating over what needs to be done to break the political deadlock over the draft withdrawal agreement and move the process forward. At present, there are still disagreements really between the parties in the UK and also between the UK and the EU. More than a dozen amendments have been tabled by the MP so far, and a handful will be selected by the Speaker when the debate opens just after midday. Now, Theresa May says that she will not allow the UK to leave the EU without a deal, but it is not the time to declare to the public that the no-deal Brexit can be ruled out. Britain is, remember, scheduled to leave the European Union on 29th of March. News from the United States, where the Trump administration has imposed sweeping sanctions on Venezuelan state-owned oil firm. This was the toughest U.S. financial measure so far against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The sanctions were announced to increase pressure against Maduro and to demonstrate U.S. support for Juan Guaido, who is the Venezuelan opposition leader who proclaimed himself interim president last week and was recognized by the United States and a host of other countries. The firm is Venezuela's largest source of revenue and owns the U.S. refining arm as well, Venezuela's most important foreign asset. The U.S. official said that the sanctions were intended to prevent Maduro government from siphoning off funds from the oil company.
Treasury took action against Venezuela's state-owned oil company, PDVSA, to help prevent the further diversion of Venezuela's assets by former President Maduro. The United States is holding accountable those responsible for Venezuela's tragic decline. We will continue to use all of our diplomatic and economic tools to support interim President Guaido, the National Assembly, and the Venezuelan people's efforts to restore their democracy.
All the cricketing action now. The second one-day international between India Women and New Zealand women's team is underway at Bay Oval. After winning the toss, the Indian women team elected to bowl first. New Zealand lost wickets in quick succession. First to fall was Susie Bates, who was caught on Julan Goswami's delivery, while Sophie Devine was struck a leg before wicket by Shikha Pandey. The New Zealand team is 5 down at the moment, with skipper Amy and another batsman still at the crease. Ekta Bisht has picked up 2 wickets for India. Indian women the team is just a win away to seal the match. And the Indian team clinched the 5-match one-day international series against New Zealand after defeating the Kiwis in the 3rd ODI yesterday. India beat New Zealand by 7 wickets in the 3rd ODI. Chasing a victory target of 244, the visitors took just 43 overs to reach the target. For India, Rohit Sharma was the highest scorer with his knock of 62, while skipper Virat Kohli scored 60 runs. India have now taken an unassailable 3-0 lead in the 5-match series. And that's the wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.